This episode has to do with medicines and herbs in the 19th century. Don't take what we talk about here today as medical advice, especially in the 21st century. We're talking about medicines in the 19th century, and it may or may not be, well, let's just pretend that it's not proper advice in the modern world. So there you go. Take everything you have here as a historical knowledge, not medical knowledge. Enjoyed this episode. Hey, we're doing a Q&A here at Conner Prairie in Fishers, Indiana, and we've done an episode on herbs and using herbs as medicine in the 19th century, and I'm going to be walking over here. I'm going to talk to Mrs. Armstrong today. She is, and she's going to guide me through her garden and the grounds, and we're going to talk a little bit about the plants that we're finding right here on the ground. Let's go. Mrs. Armstrong,
yes.
What have you got to show me here today?
Well, in my herb garden, I have Horehound, wonderful for congestion and throat. I have costumary.
Let me see this Horehound.
It's not going to have a strong smell. It doesn't really come until you've cooked it down into a tea or made it into a drop.
Okay, it's not. It looks like mint, but
it is in the mint family.
Okay.
Yes. Then I have costumary, also in the mint family, and costumary is an astringent.
Oh.
So if you give that a smell,
okay,
you can really smell that. And if you wanted to give it a chew, that's up to you.
It smells a little minty to me too. Bitter, astringent, yes, very much so.
One of my favorites that I use often, this is a rose yarrow. And yarrow I like to always have on hand, even in a dried form, because it will staunch bleeding. So if I've cut my finger on a knife when I'm doing dishes, if I have any kind of a cut from something outside working with plants, I can chew that, or I can just simply rub it in and it will stop the bleeding right away.
Have I seen yarrow in different colors and different sizes?
White, you often see it white.
Oh.
It may be in other gardens or other varieties, yes. I also like to keep it on hand during the winter. With a young grandson, he often gets a bloody nose, and so I can put that into his nose and it'll stop the bleeding.
Okay.
Horseheel. It's a
horseheel.
Horseheel, also known as elecampane.
Ah, yes, I think
I've
read about that.
So it is good again for healing processes.
It looks a bit like burdock, or
it reminds me a lot of horseradish.
Horseradish.
A longer leaf.
The longer
leaf, but it is elecampane, and it makes these beautiful yellow blossoms, which of course at this point in time are going to seed.
Right.
Then here is what is left from burdock, not burdock.
Borage?
I'm sorry, borage. Thank you. Take a flower.
Okay.
Give it a taste.
Okay.
And you're going to find it tastes
beautiful.
very much like a fresh cucumber.
Oh, I don't know if I like cucumber. It has a very vegetable-y flavor. Very, very good.
Comfrey, which is another one
Okay.
that folks use often. It's very good to help to heal. It's also good for taking soreness out. So I'll use it over my knees. I can always tell when the rain is coming. So I'll wrap my knees with that, and it'll help to take the soreness out. Some folks take it internally, but I would not advise folks to do that. And the other thing it is good for is it will help heal, but you want to make certain that if it is a deep wound, that the inside of that wound is healed before you cover over. Otherwise, it'll heal over the top of the wound.
And then you'll have a problem.
A problem on the inside.
Oh, yes.
I've also been picking out the ale hoof, which grows freely within the middle of my garden. Not by choice necessarily.
Some right there.
But I know that Mrs. Zimmerman likes to use that when she's making ale hoof root.
And what else have we got? Look, we've got
plenty of plantain.
Plantain.
I'm not certain it's something you can have enough of.
Seems to grow in everyone's ground.
Good for irritations of the skin, and the seeds, of course, are good if you are a bit compacted. And also can take the seeds and grind them into a flour that you can cook with, and also
cook with.
Also put. I would think so. I would think so.
Kind of.
It will help to cleanse your system.
Yes, a purge.
I have garlic, which is past being harvested. I really need to come back out and get that harvested. My chamomile has gone to seed, but one of my favorites, and it is in the mint family. If you want to take a taste of the leaf, it's a little flower. It's a little sweet, and the leaf is used as a tea, a good general tea.
And it is, again, what was the name?
Balm or Monarda.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Looks like a little jester's hat.
I love the color. I love the color. This is one that my daughter has planted, and it is not one of my favorite because for me it smells like a skunk, but it is known as hyssop. It is very, very good combined with thyme and with mullein leaf as a tincture for, again, bronchial problems, influenza, those types of things.
Isn't hyssop mentioned in the Bible?
Yes, it is, but it doesn't make it smell any better. This is one of my favorites, Verbena. So if you take a leaf and smell it, it is probably the strongest smelling lemon.
Yes,
I
very
just
lemon.
simply like it as a tea.
Yes, wonderful.
And lavender, a calming, soothing. And my plant looks as if it is perhaps seen the better.
Yes.
It may not survive it.
Looks
but
like sage there.
it does look a bit like sage,
Yes.
but it is a much smaller leaf for that. But it's very healing, so I like to use that in oils.
Some chives?
Chives, which
Yeah.
are always good for flavorings. You can keep those dried or use those fresh. The blossoms I like to put into vinegar to make a vinegar oil. Vinegar and oil. I have cayenne peppers, which of course put heat into the stomach, which help to aid in digestion.
Oh, yes.
Clary sage, which the seeds are often used the oil. Clary and sage, clear eye or clear seeing, and that is where the name comes from, often used for complaints of the eyes. And I have a bit of calendula, not done very well. I don't know if it was too much rain early and not enough
Yes.
now,
Yes.
but the calendula is probably one of my favorite. Pot marigold.
Pot marigold
I'll
or
use it-
English marigold?
I
Yes.
will use it as a dye, but I also like to use the blossoms of the flower. It is good in a salve for a healing, whether I use it as a compound with something else, but I like it very much.
Even
for
used
healing.
as a
Good for
simple
skin.
pot herb at times?
Yes.
Just as a
Yes, to throw
eating,
in for
yes.
color.
Yeah.
Yes,
Very
indeed.
nice.
And then down this way, I have most of my vegetables and plants here. The basil, which of course is always good to eat, but it's good to wipe on the skin. It helps to repel insects, so it's good.
Well, we need
way.
that.
And then I just have little spinning gourds, which is more of a toy for my grandson.
Yes. There you have some mullein.
Here is the mullein, and it will grow anywhere from about 2 feet to as tall as you and I.
Yes.
But the little yellow flowers I like to put into oils, and then that oil is good to use for ear aches. The leaf is so soft, so it's good to wrap a wound. If you are burning it and breathing in the fumes, it is good for bronchial problems.
And with these flowers, I've seen them visited by hummingbirds quite often.
Yes, I have quite a few of those. And one of my favorites, along with that lemon verbena that you smelled, or not, yes, is the lemon balm. Good for anxiety.
Again, like a mint.
It is a mint.
Again, it smells exactly like that.
Wonderful tea.
Yes.
It's invigorating when it's fresh, and when it's taken as a tea, it helps you to sleep.
Wonderful.
So it's a very nice.
Thank you for giving me a tour.
You are very
of
welcome.
Your garden. Hopefully someday I can have such a good display.
When you head up north, I think you'll eventually get to this.
Thank you.
Good.
I really want to thank the folks here at Conner Prairie. It is so wonderful to come here. There's so much knowledge. There's so much, the location and everything. And they're so welcoming to us to do these episodes. And I especially want to thank Sarah and the job she did on this particular Q&A. If you get a chance, you're in this in central Indiana area and you are interested in a historic site, you have to come to Conner Prairie. Thank you for your wonderful support, all the comments, all the great questions, all the wonderful support that we get in so many different ways. I don't know what to say, but thank you so much, and thanks for watching.